It's a me, Mario. It's too low. Fuck. Okay, there we go. I fixed it. Oh. Greetings. So there was a change of plans. I wasn't going to be streaming today because I was going to be out today, but turns out I'm out tomorrow instead. So I'm streaming today instead. And here's the... Oh, God. I was going to sneeze, but I managed to repel it. His character we're working on, it's Mox. He's a kobold. He is the only... I think he's the only monstrous race character in the book. I think. Yeah, like, it's under the assumption all the monstrous races are like orcs, kobolds, all of the goblinoids, and then like the other ones that no one plays, because why would you ever want to play any of them except for stupid OP reasons? Like, oh, I want to be a Yuan-Ti because I want to have magic resistance. And it's like, yeah, nah, mate, fuck off. Now, it is raining outside, which is probably good, because it means there's not going to be any outside noise. No one's going to go outside, which would be good. Yeah, so I'm hoping to get a decent bit. Well, I'm hoping to basically write out like most of Mox's nonsense today. That's my general aim. It's not 100% going to happen, but I've done a pretty good job of doing writing all of these within the space of like a couple hours. So Mox's traits. Mox in your campaign. Or you might notice this guy here, he's lawful evil. And he's not lawful evil in the way that kobolds are lawful evil. He's lawful evil in his own way. We're gonna get to that. I'm probably gonna start with the history. The hands of invading forces from the Underdark. The then very young was forced to flee to the surface and fend for himself for many months. Oh god, that's very loud. Christ. Oh, it's this album specifically is way louder than all of the others. It's very annoying. Or, well, I say very annoying. It's mildly irritating sometimes. Nah, this is still way too hot. Oh, did I not fill this up? Is this still... Yeah, this is empty. Fuck. I really need a drink as well. Oh. Yeah, that is empty now. I'm probably gonna go get. I'll probably go get some in a minute, but I don't want to just like rush away right now. Obviously. The then very young kobold was forced to flee to the surface and fend for himself for many months. Whereupon he was rescued by a passing pilgrim. I need to actually go, like, check some notes on mocks that I have from a long time ago and actually go like check for names and details and shit. I forgot mocks. Priest named Roland. As a protege. You don't capitalize the names of a language, do you? It seems to be you capitalize the name of a language, so that's I thought as much, but it looked a little weird, so I wasn't 100%. Of his deity. Pax the Martyr. Pax the Martyr, god of peace. So Pax is one of the gods featured in Angela's Deific Dictionary, sort of the precursor to this book. My eventual hope is to have the 3 Angela's books as a thing. And then having a train of thought, having the 3 Angela's books, and then having, there we go, right, having a train of thought would be a good one. So there are going to eventually be 3 Angela's books. There is, which I will probably eventually compile together into Angela's big book of lots of stuff or something. But basically it is a book. The Angela's Deific Dictionary is a book of gods. Angela's Mortal Manual is a book of characters. And Angela's title, currently unknown, is going to be about towns and cities. And the idea is you will be able to pick up those 3 books, or the eventual release of Angela's, grand adventure, grand old time. A big sort of like $20 book or something where you can buy all 3 of these books compiled into one and revamped and stuff. Getting the lot of them, and it'll be a combination of all 3 books. And it's the kind of thing where you can steal as much or as little from those books as you want for your own home game. Is the general idea, at least. His deity, Pax the Martyr. Oh. Oh, God. I get trust me my mic there. Sorry about that. Oh. Oh. Okay, right, I've sort of composed myself properly now. Gladly adopting the iron ring and bloodied cloth of Pax. I actually need to go open up Angela's Deific Dictionary to go and read about Pax again. Just like specific details about like his exact tenets and shit like that. Oh, hang on, I don't need to be doing this. I can go up to the... I just need to clear my throat. Oh. Written by past disciples of Pax. This is always the hardest part, is writing the history, is just writing a cohesive backstory that doesn't take up several eons worth of text. So I've written a couple of these that have been just ridiculously long. It's weird. It is kind of weird that they're both like 3-letter, 1-syllable words that end in X, and they're like consonant vowel X. But now whatever, right? It's not the end of the world. I need to clear my throat again. Oh. Tea is just cool enough to drink now. Just. I'll probably finish writing the history and I'll take a very, very quick break to go and fill up my water bottle because I need some water. Warfarin. I don't know if that's warfarin. Yeah, it's a medication. What the fuck? See, warfaring isn't a dictionary word, which is very strange to me. Maybe I'll just use violent. I did not vote for his banishment. I think that works. I need to clear my throat. Ugh. Once wielded by... Once wielded by the Emperor of a long-lost land. Pretty good, pretty good. We're currently writing the history for this guy, this guy here, Mox. Long lost land. It's the Emperor of... Once ruled by the Emperor of the long lost land by the same name. Of the same name? The Emperor of the long lost land of the same name. Nah, it doesn't. That's... Ah. Are you multiing from Wizard into Warlock? Or are you making a character that's like sort of... Oh, they were previously a wizard, but they're now a warlock. Oh, God. There's, God, this music's far too loud. There we go, that's a bit better. I think. It's entitled... To the Empire's Throne. An Inquisition of Paladins. Maliran Lothos. I think that's how you say it. Yeah, Maliran Lothos. Or is it Lothos? Lothros. There's an R I missed. Is it blue scales or blue scale? Yeah, same. I'm not entirely certain what you get out of multiing into Warlock. And you remember, you need the... If you don't have 13 charisma, then you can't. You like explicitly. I don't know what your charisma is, you might already have it, but do keep that in mind. Yeah, I'm not entirely certain what you get out of that. Especially given you're going Grey Old One, which is like the... How do I put this? The bad one. But it's a cool character building thing. I think it's it kind of sucks that Wizard and Warlock multi together explicitly really badly, because it is flavorfully a really interesting combination. I imagine you can probably do something with Hexblade and Bladesinger, but even so, that's probably not amazing regardless. Yeah, you're definitely not going to be getting to anywhere near that. And the game doesn't really support going past 20. Namely because you're just going to end up with... You're going to reach a cap at 20 where you can't really get any more powerful besides just getting more hit points. Like, the proficiency bonus goes up to 30, technically, and you can extrapolate it to 40. But eventually you run out of stats to increase and run out of useful feats to take. Yeah, that seems... It seems like a bit of a clusterfuck, really, but you know, if it's fun, then whatever, right? It doesn't matter if it technically doesn't really make any sense. From behind the scenes, blue scales. And the pseudonym Little Dragon. Under a pseudonym, Little Dragon. That's cool. I'm happy with that now. And I think I'll probably wait to get a drink. I'll probably write this opening section as well. Yeah, let me just make sure that those aren't antonyms. yeah, say the though I don't know, the I guess the main thing is if you're a 15th level wizard, you're already exceedingly powerful. Gaining like level 1 warlock abilities is pretty strictly a downgrade. Like, from a RP perspective, it's pretty cool. If you were to, but realistically, getting another level in wizard and learning more good wizard spells is like your 15th level. You have access to what, 8th level spells. So you've got clone, you've got simulacrum, and a couple levels you get wish, which means that you have permanent. You have as many simulacrums as you bloody well want. You can make simulacrums of your allies, I think. I can't remember specifically. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think you can have multiple simulacrums. I think you can just have a set amount. I forget specifically how it works, but you get a lot of like really powerful defensive tools, whereas first level warlock gives you Eldritch Blast, and that's it. Like, the whatever first level warlock spells you get, it's like whatever, right? Hellish Rebuke is okay, and 2 more first level slots is certainly nothing to sneeze at, but it's not good, I think, is the main thing. I don't know. As someone who thinks about this game both from an RP perspective and from a mechanical perspective at the same time, for me, one of them falls short significantly. Well, this one, I suppose I said some mechanics second, falls short, and kind of in turn pulls the role-playing aspect down with it. Because when I think about it, I'm like, what do I gain from making a pact? I gain a couple first level spells and an okay cantrip. Or I could just gain more wizard levels and take my already very powerful character to new heights. Or progress towards the next big power bump, which is learning Wish. Which, yeah, that's like that's real shit right there. It's that's real shit. It's getting Wish. Or any other 9th level spell, to be perfectly honest. There's a lot of good ones. Blade of Disaster is a fun one. So 3 Warlock nets you 2 more 2nd level spells. Which is so-so. It gives you more shields and what is the what is the ability? I don't remember. Shields and absorb elements, assuming that you have both of those spells, which you should. You're a wizard. You should definitely have shield, and you should, without question, have shield and absorb elements as well. I'm fairly certain. Absorb elements is a wizard spell, right? I'm pretty fucking sure it is. Let me just double check that one. Better be. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Like, they're 2, like, ultra, if you're a high-level wizard and you don't have both of those spells, it's like, you should probably pick them up, like, right now. Yeah, 2 more wizard, assuming you are a 15th level wizard now, you want to at least get to 17 wizard. If you don't do that, then, like specking into warlock is kind of shooting yourself in the foot. You could take 2 warlock and pick up agonizing blast, and then it's actually really quite good. Like, getting agonizing blast is on any class is just kind of good. I think the main thing is, what's your charisma? Because if your charisma is any less than like 16, it's even with agonizing blast, probably not great. Because you're, I say that. I mean, yeah, 20th level characters can do that anyway, right? Unless your DM doesn't turn around and, like, you know, if it has hit points, it can die. You know, and it's not like DM caveat bullshit where it's like, oh, he's immune to damage, so fuck you. Ninth level spells are, like, if you if you want a multi for, like, the 19th and 20th level wizard stuff, and the 18th for that matter, actually, the 18th level wizard stuff is really strong, but it's not required. Yeah, I say, and you're not going to get an ASI if you multi into Warlock, because you'll miss it. Your next ASI is at 16 Wizard, and at 19 Wizard, and you'll never see that Warlock ASI with 3 levels. If I assume you mean your Charisma is okay in that it's like 16, upon which having 18 Charisma is probably not that bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. Basically, as long as you can get, yeah, like, you know, that's probably the most, you know, not shooting my character in the foot, and also, you know, still get the flavor. It's like, oh, I made a pact for more wizard knowledge or whatever, and then, you know, that can have its own consequences or what have you. Realistically, like, you know, you can just flavor it as whatever. Either way, you've gone this far into wizard, multiing into anything else except, like, fighter for action surge, which is kind of cringe, but, you know, it's technically something you can do. Multiing into anything but that is kind of like, you know, running half a marathon and then sort of just kind of casually walking halfway back and then trying to finish it from there, really. Or I suppose in this case, running 3/4 of a marathon and then walking back like 4 miles and then just carrying on forward and never reaching the end. It's a bad metaphor, but there's plenty of them. I use those all the time, terrible metaphors. But it's kind of analogous to, like, high-level multiclassing into a class that doesn't immediately or very, very quickly give you something that's really good. Especially given how swingy high-level play is. It's one of those things where, for the enemy to be a threat, they need to slap you for like 100 points of damage every round. And for you to be able to kill the enemy, your group needs to be able to slap the enemy for 200 points of damage every single round. But yeah. A character's face most cloak that seems to enforce a divine role over others. Yeah, say epic level doesn't mean anything in 5th edition. Like, there's no rules for it. There's no anything. Like, because in one of my games I specifically had to invent 20+ level features for classes and create rules for, you know, play beyond 20th level, because it just isn't a thing in 5th edition otherwise. It just doesn't exist. So your obviously your GM can create rules for it, and say like, oh yeah, you have to multi-class into something else, or, you know, here, or, you know, I don't know, like, I think it's very finicky without without knowing who your GM is and, like, any knowledge of, like, their background and their, like, design experience. It's a little concerning from a third person perspective, but because it has a lot of capacity to be bad, has a significant capacity to be not great. Yeah, I think I think the main issue is for some players taking a second class is like, what's the point, right? Like if you're a full caster, you don't get any stronger. You just get more spells you're never gonna cast, and maybe a couple of everyone's just gonna pick Bard or something. All of the spellcasters that get actual features, because if you pick like Wizard or something, what do you get? You just get more spells you don't need. Like, I guess if you're a cleric, you can pick up, like, shield and absorb elements, but literally every other spell you get from that second class is going to suck, and your stat is going to suck. Realistically, the thing that everybody is going to do is be like, well, I want Bardic Inspiration, because Bardic Inspiration is actually good, or I'm going to go Fighter for Action Surge, or I'm going to go Rogue for Sneak Attack, or, if they're a caster, it's like, well, I'm gonna go Sorcerer for meta magic. It's weird. It's one of those things where a lot of characters just won't get any stronger ever, and like post 20th level, and some of them will in really like once. Yeah, no, the multi-classing Warlock is the equivalent of running 3/4 of a marathon and then pitching yourself into a gorge. That is, I would highly advise against it. Like, if you don't give a rat's ass about character power level, then by all means go for it. But if you care about it in any capacity, then just don't. With a charisma like that, there is literally nothing Warlock can give you that makes any Warlock levels worthwhile, like whatsoever. Because if your charisma was like passable, if your charisma was like 16 or something, and it was okay, picking up Agonizing Blast would actually be pretty good. It's Eldritch Blast. You get multiple attacks. Even if your bonus to hit is kind of subpar. You get multiple attacks, you get multiple chances to hit, and if you get lucky and you hit all of them, that's more damage than Firebolt is going to do. So that's really good. If you don't have that, which you don't in this case because your charisma is like literally on the threshold of if it was any lower, you just couldn't do it. Realistically, if you really want to multi-class, the real multi-class is Fighter, and waiting until, so you get 18th level Fighter, and then 18th level Wizard, and you take 2 levels in Fighter for Action Surge, or you take 3 for, or hell, you just take Wizard to 20 and then take Fire as your second class because it gives you Action Surge, and Action Surge does work for spellcasters. Because you can cast 2 spells in a turn, it's just none of them can be bonus actions. You can, that's why Eldritch Knights are actually, like, really good, because you can go, okay, right, it's my turn, I cast Fireball, Action Surge, I cast Fireball again, and it's like, that's like it's fucking sick is what it is. And if you're a high-level Eldritch Knight, you can also then make a weapon attack as a bonus action. It's amazing. It's very, very good. Also means you can weapon bond to a bow and shoot all of your spells out of a bow, which is fun. And it also means that once you get to a certain fighter level, because assuming you take this as your second class or what have you for epic levels or whatever, you'll eventually be able to. If you're on your turn, you're like cantrip casting for whatever. You don't have like a main spell to cast for whatever reason. You can cast a cantrip and then ping someone with an arrow, because it's just free damage at that point, right? There's a lot of stuff you can do. It's mostly Action Surge because you go, oh look at me, I cast Wish for some obscenely powerful spell. And then I Action Surge and cast whatever my 8th level spell is and do obscene amounts of damage because, of course. Pally doesn't net you anything. Pally definitely doesn't net you anything. It's I'm talking specifically about Eldritch Knight. They have an ability called Weapon Bond, which lets you bond to a weapon, obviously. And to my knowledge, with your bonded weapon, you can make somatic components, or somatic gestures for your spells, whilst holding the weapon. So you could just flavor it if you wanted, you shooting your spells at people. It's, you know, damage-wise doesn't actually do anything. But I think when you get to 7th, you get, when you cast a cantrip, you can make a weapon attack as a bonus action. So you can firebolt someone and then just shoot someone with a regular arrow, which is probably pretty good damage. That's what, like 4d10 plus 1d8 plus 4 with your current deck. So by that point it'll be 5. That's a pretty good damage output. That's what? 22... 23, 22, 26, 31? That's not as good as I thought, but it's not bad. I suppose it's also Toll the Dead, actually. You Toll the Dead, and then... Because you're an Eldritch Knight, you get even more spells. You pick up good cantrips or whatever with your Eldritch Knight levels. I guess you could also... One of the good... Nah, Eldritch Knight's kind of like the good one in that instance. All the other ones kind of suck. Maybe Rune Knight is okay? Probably isn't. Yeah, that's a good one. That's pretty late on, but you also just get some passive benefits. It's a class that immediately gives you something that's actually useful, because multiing into a martial class that only makes your martial stuff better is a complete waste. Multiing into a full caster that just gets spells is like, oh wow, I've got these 2 first level spells I'm never gonna cast. Yeah, it seems... Yeah, Fighter seems like the obvious pick here. I suppose you could go Blade Singer as well and pick up some dumb stuff. Pick up, like, Booming Blade and Green Flame Blade and go to town. That's probably the real guy pick there, actually. No, what the fuck am I talking about? That's a wizard subclass. Are you already a Blade Singer? I don't actually know what wizard you are. That's probably a good thing to ask about. Are you Blade Singer? Sounds like a Blade Singer character. Blade Singer isn't elf exclusive anymore. It hasn't been for a long time. I say long time, since Tasha's came out earlier on this year. It's not elf exclusive. And thereby it's not fucking stupid. I mean, it still is pretty stupid, but... Yeah. Yeah, you can, But yeah, just as a note, all of those, Skag subclasses, Blade Singer specifically... Oh, hang on. Oh no. Oh, my books has gotten all ripped up. Oh. Is Van Richten's okay? Yes, Van Richten's, that's the one I actually care about. This is like, Got a little tear along here. Hang on, might be able to see it. Yeah. Can kind of see it. Yeah. Are you redoing the race, Gabby? Because the kobold race option in this game is insane. I was like, I swear, all of the like monstrous races from Volos, it was like they got the intern to make those. It was like almost all of them are just horrifically poorly designed. There's like 2 that are kind of okay. Like the hobgoblins are mostly fine. The goblins are kind of pushed, but they're not terrible. But most of the others are just ridiculous. Either way, I need to do some writing. Marx is a cleric that seeks to enforce his divine will over others. +1 dex, I assume? I'd say 40 feet of speed on a race is definitely not a thing that you probably should have, but 35 feet on a race is fine. I'm trying to think of a race that actually has 40 feet. I imagine centaurs probably get it. I mean, fire's just sword guy, but you could certainly flavor it as something like that, yeah. So the leader as a Grand Emperor. As a heretic is face master, the cleric seeks to enforce a divine will over others. Yeah, makes sense. I can't remember what I did to kobolds. Hang on, I have all my homebrew stuff on standby, or I say on standby. I have it. Races. Let's take a gander. I say the kobolds are already like master trap makers already. The flavor of kobolds is awesome, and I really like them. I'm currently editing a book all about kobolds at the moment, for someone else. What did I do to kobolds? I gave them +2 dex, +1 charisma. I gave them 30 feet of speed, dark vision. I reworked pack tactics to gang tactics. Whenever you move within 5 feet of a hostile creature for the first time on your turn, you may choose one allied creature within 5 feet of that creature. I mean, it's mostly rogues because it's just free sneak attack forever. Like putting pack tactics on a race, along with magic resistance and whatever other stupid shit they've put on races, is some of the dumbest mistakes that WotC have ever made. Kobolds, Satyrs, and Yuan-Ti are easily the most poorly designed races in the entire game. Especially after Tasha's removed the otherwise completely negligible negative whatever to strength that kobolds get. Not that it matters, because, like, you don't need strength. Strength is the worst stat in the game. It doesn't matter. Yeah. I didn't change Cower, Grovel, and Beg. Yeah, I basically made gang tactics work with flanking stuff because I use a variant flanking rule in my home game. I mean, yeah, it was a good change. Negative stats are an inherently bad piece of design that should never have made it into 5th edition. They were stupid in 3.5, and jamming them into 5e on like 2 races was just a terrible idea. But WotC have never quite understood how to balance races. Every race that they've made, pretty much since the game released, is either unusably shit or ridiculously broken, with very few exception. I think probably the most balanced races in the game, it's like elves are pretty reasonable. They have like some very useful abilities, but they aren't completely game-breaking. Gnomes are kind of fine. Tieflings are actually kind of reasonable. Well, they're actually very reasonable. Nowadays, Tieflings are probably low power end just because of how pushed all the new races are. It's bad. Yeah, there's WotC have never understood how to balance races, and they've never done a good job of it. The PHB, I think, is the only book with races in it that has races which aren't. I mean, most of them are kill, because they're just badly designed. I'm very partial to hobgoblins. I like the flavor of what hobgoblins are. but their stats are really uninteresting. They do not interest me really at all. Lore-wise, the Yuan-Tis can go in the trash. Bugbears can go in the trash. Gnolls also shouldn't be a player race. Hell, Gnolls in IMO shouldn't be humanoid. They're demons. The Gnolls are demons. They should be humanoid, subtype Gnoll dash, or subtype demon / Gnoll. Because Gnolls are very literally spawned from a demon prince, or demon lord, or whatever the fuck the term is. Like, a Yeenoghu bleeds and Gnolls are born. They also reproduce by, like, infecting, like, hyenas and shit. Gnolls are, Gnolls are ridiculous. Orcs are fine. I'm kind of, like, neutral on orcs. I like them, but, like, the way... I'm like... I don't like WotC's approach to orcs, but I don't like the way literally everyone else approaches orcs either. Kobolds are fine. I actually really like the way WotC does kobolds. I genuinely really like it. Goblins are fine. Hobgoblins are definitely my favorite flavor-wise because it's just Mad Max and I think it's really cool. Orcs are like... The way they're written in Volos is the impetus to a lot of the stupid decisions that WotC are making now, for a variety of very convoluted reasons that I don't have the time or care to get into. But basically, the way orcs are written in Volos is the reason why all the races are still really poorly balanced now, and why they're so insanely pushed. Yeah, and the way everybody else approaches orcs is just like, oh, they're just green humans, and it's like, that's super boring. Can we like have a cool culture for orcs, please, without making them inherently super evil? Like, both are cringe. Can we have cool orcs? Cool neutral aligned orcs or whatever, because that's fun. Yeah, I'm trying to think what other races there even are in Volos. Oh, a bunch of the all of the elemental evil races got reprinted in Volos, didn't they? The Ganassi I don't like because people always want to play them in games where they don't fit. So I had them banned in my games for forever. Nowadays I'm just like, I've categorized all of the races like, this is extra planar, you can't play it in most of my games. I'm certainly more partial to I forgot about lizard folk. Yeah, lizard folk fucking suck as well. Those they're just like, let's take a dragonborn and make it look like a kobold, and then take away all of the interesting bits about both. Let's just like... The cannibalism is whatever, like, it's a stupid mechanic, I don't really care, but they're just boring. They don't add anything to the game, like, at all. They don't add anything lore-wise, they're just like Yuan-Ti and kobolds and dragonborn just crammed together into the most bland, boring whatever. Like, the lizard folk, they're just a fucking snooze fest, and I hate them. Goliaths are pretty cool. They're technically, they're a reprint. Yeah, I say I'm like, for me at least, cannibalism is like, whatever. Like, I'm more like, it's a stupid mechanic. Like, it's dumb. And yeah, they just have nothing going for them. That's like their unique thing is, cannibalism, and it's like, that's not really, A, that's not unique, and B, why is that a mechanic? Why is that a thing? It's really fucking stupid. Tieflings are obviously like fan favorites and always have been and always will be because I can be your angel or your devil, edgy boy stuff. But tieflings are fun. They have a fun visual aesthetic, and they are, you can make them look however you want. In my argument, tieflings are hot in the same way that literally every race is hot, because the only ones that WotC shows us are the hot ones, because why would they want to show us the ugly ones unless we're supposed to kill them? Or something like that, because that's how people present things. It's kind of cringe, but whatever, that's the way that it is. Elder Scrolls Orcs are pretty cool. I actually like them quite a lot. They have a very interesting, it's the kind of thing I was talking about with when I was saying give orcs a cool culture but don't make them evil, and that Elder Scrolls does that really well. Actually, that's the way they have their if orcs were designed like that, obviously the orcs in all of the books are written with the Forgotten Realms in mind, where orcs are like mental mind slaves of Groosh. They've got this god screaming in their ear to murder stuff 24/7. Of course they're going to be kind of violent and crazy, but in a world without Groosh, orcs are just big dudes, and it's you can do whatever you want with them. I have a friend who was building a setting where the orcs were like Spartans. Yeah, it's I don't really I've never had players play full orc characters in big homebrew setting campaigns, so I've never had to think about orcish tribes or anything and how they work, or how orcs work at all. Yeah. So I'm just even more neutral than that. I would do something very similar to Elder Scrolls Orcs, where they just kind of, we live our life the way we live our life. Just stay out of our way, please. We're not going to fuck with you, and you're not going to fuck with us, and then we're not going to have a problem. All of the orcish dens or camps or whatever the fuck they're called. Skyrim is my core example, because I'm not even sure if the other Elder Scrolls games even have them. But they, the way they have the orcish chief is the orc sort of tribes or whatever is they're referred to. I think they have a term for it, but I don't know what it is off the top of my head. But they're tribes basically. The chief has yeah, that's kind of interesting. Yeah. Given what I know about your setting, they certainly seem antithetical to, the Hallow. God, I've spent a lot of time faffing and not much work, making much work done, but that doesn't really matter. I got time. It's not a big deal. Where is Mox? Intro and history. Well, the intro isn't actually done yet. I haven't finished it. Bringing about through an iron hand, through an iron fist. Sunlight sensitivity is just a badly designed mechanic. If it only gave disadvantage on, that's also true. I like that. I'm just thinking the green clashes with the gold and the blue. That's really all I'm thinking of. It's just it kind of clashes. Yeah, sunlight sensitivity is just a really badly designed mechanic. If it just gave disadvantage on perception checks, totally fine, nothing wrong with that. But the fact that it gives disadvantage on attacks as well just means it's arbitrarily super debilitating for the races that have it. And most of those races, I think kobolds are the only ones that make up for the downside. Drow and Sverfneblin and whatever the Duergar maybe do. I don't know, whatever. They're like barely a player race. But yeah, basically my attitude to design and 5e's general attitude to design when they choose to stick to it is that no matter what, you don't take away things from a player under the pretense or the guise of giving them things. You know, you don't pay a cost for getting something. You know, if it's like, oh, it's too powerful if I just give it to them, it's like, well, then that's a problem with your design. You need to tone down what you've made and what you're giving them, instead of giving them like arbitrary things to make it worse. Because especially with 5th edition, you know, kobolds having -2 strength, you just don't play a kobold barbarian. Literally every other class in the game doesn't need strength, so it's not a downside. So you just get all this stuff for free. If you're a also that, yeah, there's Let's Adventure at Night, or I don't know, be a wizard and don't cast attacking cantrips, because it'll literally never impact you if you do that. There's so many ways around all of these abilities where you can just build your character in such a way where you get all the OP stuff for free, which means that, you know, your downside is but yeah, it's kind of fun. I say I should imagine it would be fairly interesting. Cannot be deterred from his path. I cannot be deterred from his path. That's kind of interesting. Marked by purple stripes. It is kobold time. His legendary Shield of Aremia. Mox has a commanding persona. Ah, yes. Here he is. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good. I think D&D recently did a cookbook. Yeah, they did. I know a couple of people who bought it, actually. Apparently it's pretty alright. I'm not much of a cook myself. Like, I can cook, but I don't, I don't. It's it's a thing. I don't particularly like. I'm not particularly bothered by doing it. Yeah, I say. That's a stern, commanding persona. There's a stone commanding before him. Like a military commander. To think of like Joe, I can't remember what it was. Mox had some kind of personality quirk and I do not remember what it was. It has completely escaped me, even though it was probably only about a year ago at this point. Maybe a little less. No, I think he just didn't want to fight. Yeah, I'm thinking he was just like a pacifist to begin with, right? Wait, no, he wasn't a pacifist. I'm legitimately trying to remember what it was. I swear he had a very specific personality quirk and it's... I don't remember. It is lost to me at this time. Hang on, let me just check something real fast. That was it. Yes. I remember now. Right. I'm going to take a very quick break because I want to go and grab a drink and use the loo. I will be probably the better part of 5 minutes. I just want to, get a drink. If people need to head off, that's all good. Thanks for sticking about. If not, I'll be back very shortly. See you guys in just a minute. a return. Hello. Right. It's time to write Mox's traits. He doesn't tolerate insubordination of rules or code. I need to check whether I'm like be all. The be all and end all of the law is the be all and end all of everything. Yeah, that seems appropriate. To live lives of peace and prosperity. It is my duty to ensure this future. Basically, Mox has a fairly noble, if somewhat naive, objective of eliminating conflict in its entirety by taking over the world. Mox is whilst Mox was written a long time ago, as a concept, he's very much like sort of peacemaker. He's like, I cherish peace with all my heart. It doesn't matter how many men, women, and children have to die for me to get it. Except Mox, doesn't just wantonly murder people for fun. As like an excuse for, he doesn't use peace as an excuse for murder. But he doesn't care what he has to do to achieve his ideals of peace. Feels appropriate. Quest prompt. Right, so that's traits, campaign. It's now quest prompt time. I'm going to assume that people heard the wonderful dog sounds. And I sure do love dogs. They are my favorite animal. I also need to turn the fucking brightness down on this fucking screen because I look like a ghost. There we go. It's a bit better. Right. I think that works pretty... So we need some more quest prompts. Helps to defend a city from outside invasion. The characters are hired by a law to bring Maliran to justice for supposedly before she joined the Order of the Blue Scales many years ago. Burning down his palace. And killing. Burning down his palace, killing several members of his family. I'll save this last one for now. Need to actually open up Angela's as well. The little dragon. Priest of Pax, the Peace Walker. Hyprocytic. What is the word? Hang on. Oh, hypocritical, of course, yeah. That's hypocritical brigands. Gross smell. It's like the nice like rain smell or anything. It's just kind of gross. From Mock's Little Dragon, Stonejaw. Malira knowing his true identity. That's cool. I like that. Stretching a bit. I want to do some prep for one of my games on stream at some point to encourage me to actually like sit down and do that too, because that seems to be the real thing. Is like the way to get me to do work is to stream it, because I can't get distracted whilst I'm streaming. Like I just can't. Or if I can, I can't be distracted for long, because I'll be like, oh fuck, I'm streaming. Table design, layout, hang on. See page 29 of Angela's Deific Dictionary. Speaking of, I will actually plug Angela's here, because yeah, you can click on the old thing and it'll take you to my portfolio, and Angela's is just it's I think the first or the second. I think it's the second thing that's on there. It's a big book of gods, and it's all OGL. So if you're a writer, you can use some of those gods in your work. You have to credit, of course, but or if you're writing stuff, an adventure or something, you can use those gods. Or if you just want to steal them for your home game, you can also do that. I'm very proud of that book. As I'm growing more and more proud of this one as I write it. The first Angela's was like, you know, this one felt a bit like a chore to begin with, but there have been some entries that have been legitimately like, oh wow, this is amazing. They're much the same as Angela's, where there are a few like gods in Angela's where I really feel like I like hit the nail on the head and I've made something really like, you know, like something really interesting, something really unique and with a lot of substance. And there's a good number of characters in here as well that I'm super proud of the way that I've written them. So yeah, now we need to come up with one more quest prompt, and then we need to write the Angela's note. So I'm going to do the quest prompt, I think. So we've got 2 about the Order doing something and offering and asking the characters for help. There's sort of the front-facing, the nice part of the Order, where they will defend people from invasion. And there's the bad parts of the Order. There is actually something I need to write about. Actually, is the Order will defend towns and cities from incoming invasions. Will defend settlements from incoming invasions. to murder warlord assassins, to murder warlords, and kings. Before wars can even begin. There we go, that's something else I need to do. So this one is about Maliran. These two are about the Order doing things. This one is like the end goal, like Mox's end goal. He does his thing. And Mox hires the character for something here, so I'm thinking... Oh, I know. That's cool. I like that. So generally I write stats for all these characters, but I'm not going to do that on stream today because it is just kind of tedious. It's just, you know, fiddling with numbers. I'm going to do it later on tonight in my own time. Right, so... So on the whole, Mox is kind of a terrible person. I kind of like that. It's not as like crazy or funny as all of the others, but I feel like it's very succinct. You know, I might come back to it and change it up, and you know, I imagine, you know, like once this book is in a state where it's, you know, I'm nearly done. I think. Yeah, once I write the stat block this evening, I will be 2/3 done with the book. Like, actively, I will be 2/3 done with the book. Not quite, actually, but, almost 2/3 done with the book. But, regardless of that, you know, once I'm much closer to finish, I'm just gonna go through all of them and be like, okay, right, and like do my own personal editing. And then I'm gonna, you know, like grab like someone for proofreading. You're like, hey, I need you to proofread this book, please. Because I want to, because this is it, by the way. Like, I'm not gonna be doing any more writing for the stream. I'm gonna stick around for another few minutes and like, you know, chat a bit, and I'm probably gonna head off. But and if anyone wants to head off now, that's all good. Thanks for sticking about. But I'll probably you know, stick about if you want to chat or whatever, and I'll probably talk a little bit more about my process. Is I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5 more characters to do. The half is kind of a weird one because I have one entry that's 2 characters, but they're very linked. So, you know, I'm gonna write one history section and like one intro section, but also it's going to be quite long, and I'm going to be writing, like, you know, the campaign bit is going to be quite long. I'll be writing 2 sets of traits, the quest promises will be 2 sets of stats, the extra section will probably be 1 thing, and the notes there'll probably be 2 of them. I don't know. It's very up in the air at the moment as to exactly how this is going to go, but I am, you know, I want to have all of this done by the end of the month, which I know for a fact I definitely can do. Under the assumption that I get, under the assumption that I can complete like 4 every single week for the next, like, you know, 3 weeks, or for the next like 2 and a bit weeks, I will finish. Like, I'll be okay. I have 2 1/3 weeks left to go, according to my graph, and I have 9.3 or 9 entries. So I'm going to do Mox's stats tonight, because the statistics make up like 1/3 of the text, just because there's just lots of words in them, even though most of it takes, like, you know, no thought to write. Yeah, so once I'm done with that, I will need to do like, oh no, not 4, 3.9 a week, which is weird, but whatever, right? But yeah, I'm making good time, and once that's done, I'm gonna test read it myself. I'm gonna get some friends to test read sections of it. I'm probably gonna do sort of like a proper like test reading initiative for friends and maybe some viewers as well, if people would be interested in the idea. I'm not 100% on that, you know. I think it's easy for me to ask my friends, you know, would you mind reading, you know, 3 pages of my book, than it is to, you know, ask like random people basically to read 3 pages of my book. But my plan is to my plan is to have sort of myself test read it, and then other people test read it a bit, and then probably get probably get a proofreader in just to, you know, do a little bit of work on it, check for, you know, grammar errors and spelling mistakes and the sort, just little things that'll But yeah, that's my sort of general plan, so to speak. Ah, yes. But yeah, so I just finished the writing. I was just talking about, like, I have like 7.5 more entries to write in about 2 weeks. Not a hard deadline for myself, but I want, absolute worst case scenario, I want to be done by the 3rd at the very, very latest. Preferably by the 30th, as that is my goal, and with the rate that I'm working, I should be able to do it. I should definitely be able to do it. I'll be streaming. I won't be streaming tomorrow, but I will be Thursday, and I will definitely be on Saturday as well. And if I can get another entry done in my own time over this week, then I'll be on track. Though, ultimately speaking, I was trying to think. Yeah, I think probably my best aim will be to do 4 a week, and since I've got like 7.5 left to do, if I can do that, I'll be done next week, which is ideal, anyways. But yeah, so I hope folks have enjoyed themselves, because I will be back to do more of this on Thursday. I'll be back to, like, I'm not sure what character I'm going to do. Basically, I have like 3.5 characters, and then all of the extra characters that weren't guaranteed to go in the book. I was going to see how much time me and AJ had to write and do the art, and it turns out we had more than enough time to do all of it. Both myself and AJ are like, AJ especially, like, you're almost done. You have like 4 more pieces left to do, right? Like, if that. I can't remember specifically, but it's not a lot. Let me take a gander. But it looks at things I'm right. It's 4 more, and most of them are fairly simple, fairly small. But yeah, and I have 7.5 more bits of writing to do over the next couple of weeks. Though obviously, like, AJ can finish the art whenever. I will be releasing at some point, like mid to late October, is the plan, anyhow. But yeah, I'm gonna head off now because I have some other work to do. I have an editing job I should probably crack on with. And I also want to start like a proofreading initiative for, like, start brainstorming a proofreading, or just like a test reading initiative for people who would be interested in, like, test reading parts of the book, just to see how good it is. That's another thing. I also need to write the introduction to this book as well. Though, to be fair, I can probably sit down and do that in 40 minutes, probably on stream. It'll probably be something I do in the back half of one of these streams, most likely. But yeah, I'm going to head off now. Thanks very much for folks who've stuck about. If you want to press the buttons or what have you, then by all means go ahead. If not, like, that's not a big deal. I mean, it's a non-deal. Like, I don't, like, you not doing something is no skin off my back, or yours for that matter. But yeah, thank you very much for sticking about. I'll be back on Thursday if anybody wants to see a little bit more of what I'm doing here, just kind of chatting and writing. And on Friday, I'm going to attempt to finish Chrono Trigger in a sitting, from like the afternoon to the evening. Probably be doing this again on Saturday. And yeah, thanks for sticking about. See ya.